Hello, everyone. Let's talk about my examination day, a NEET student giving JEE session 1. Before people judge and go away from here, I would just tell you that please listen to my story, then judge, and then quit this video. Some battles don't happen in examination halls, they begin much longer before, and they end much later. So, yeah, let's start. It was shift 1, 24th January, early morning, a center very far away. I woke up early, nervous but strangely calm because I had studied almost 20 hours the day before. Yes, 20 hours the day before. Not because I was chasing marks, but because for the last 2 years, I had been lingering around exams, fear, and self doubt. Because for the past 2 years, I wanted to attempt JEE, but I never attempted. Yes, I am a two-time dropper. And this time, I went. I filled the form for JEE when I was in my 12th standard in 2024 also. But I never had the courage to make it to the examination hall. Because I'm a PCB student. I love biology. My physics and chemistry are not that great. And if I'm going to go for an exam which is just checking my physics and chemistry, and that also not at NEET level but a higher level, I was like, I cannot even score bare minimum. And that courage, I that never had me let the courage to go and face the exam. So yes, this time I wanted to go there and win over myself. Because that itself felt like an achievement when I was entering that gate of the examination hall. It felt like an achievement. I told my mother that, Mama, percentile doesn't matter, marks don't matter. What matters is that I'm at least going. I'm sitting there and I'm trying. And I've gathered up the courage that was needed to face the exam, which I didn't had for the past 2 years. The center was far away. NTA does the same for both JEE and NEET aspirants, so we are on the same page at least somewhere. So yeah, my mother and my uncle drove me there early in the morning and giving up their precious time without a single complaint. And later that distance stayed with me. Inside the examination hall, the screen was very bright, too bright. And for some reason, it reminded me of my mother. Because my mum has this habit of keeping her phone's flashlight very bright. And I always tell her that, Mama, your eyes will get harmed. And she's always like that, I'm not able to see in the dim light. So, yeah, it reminded me of her. Then paper started. Physics, first of all, the first thing that was haunting me was what is the password? Because JEE exam asks you of a password. Even the JEE student was asking me that what is the password, and I'm like, I don't know. And in my mind, I'm going like, I'm a NEET aspirant. I don't even know why am I here. But jokes apart, we asked the invigilator, and the person said that it is the password that will be telling you later. So they actually told us the password. We started the exam. Physics, chemistry, the paper moved on. When I came out, people were discussing answers. From them, I actually got a glimpse of what my NEET days were for the past two times. And I was thinking that, okay, this time it's the last time, the final third attempt, so it's going to happen again. For me, that day, it was just an exam. I came back home. My mother knew something was off because obviously mothers get to know that something is off from the face only. But she didn't actually ask me so much because she knew that maybe the paper didn't well the way I would have imagined. And she was like, okay, let it go. For days after that, I was like, I didn't have the courage to even check the paper. But I was like, okay, chemistry went well, so let's check chemistry. And when I checked chemistry, I was getting 68. And I was very happy that at least I'll get above 95 percentile at this marks. But I never checked physics. because I felt that physics would have given me a 0 mark. And I told it to my mother also that it would be 0. And she was like, "What? 0?" But I was like, at the end, I appeared for it. That's what matters. And she couldn't say anything further. Oh my god. So I never checked physics. Days went by, and finally the response sheet was released. I downloaded my response sheet and I was like, okay, let's gather the courage and let's check the paper. I wrote down my marked questions on paper because, in NEET, we have this habit that we get the OMR sheet. So we write all the question numbers, and in front of question numbers, we mark the options that, okay, A, B, C, D, whatever the options we have marked. And then what is the response sheet? We actually match with it. Now what happened, I did the same thing for JEE. Little did I know that there were question IDs which were given, the big numbers, and we had to actually check those big numbers, and they were jumbled up in the response sheet. So what I did, I actually went with the order and I checked the first 25 of physics, the first 25 of chemistry. Little did I know that they were jumbled up, and I just checked it. And guess what? How much was I getting? I was getting 3 marks. Legit 3. My inner world was devastated. I was shaken away and I started cursing myself that what happened. I didn't even have the audacity to score at least 50. Oh my god, this will end up at 30 or 40 percentile. And that 2 days that I actually went through it without even checking, because I didn't had the audacity to go back again and check the paper again. But in my mind, I had this that in chemistry it was 68. What went wrong that it actually dropped to 3? And guess what? In physics, I was getting 0 only. Oh my god. I was like that maybe at that time, whatever I said got correct. If I would have said that I would have gotten admission into NEET, I would have gotten that also, you know. But that happened for 2 days. On the second day, my inner world started shaking away. I felt like giving up. I felt like that, that I've actually, it was, the feeling was like कि किसी चीज़ को इतना अच्छे से चाह लिया that I don't even want it anymore. Let's leave this everything. I wanted to tear up all my books. I didn't have the audacity to study. I was studying biology because I felt that biology can actually uplift my mood, but I didn't even wanted to study that. I wanted to give up. But as said, that some battles don't happen in exam halls. They happen in your head. And at 2 a.m., when my inside was collapsing, when everything was just bad, what haunted me most was not the marks actually. It was this thought that they came so far for me. And look where I am. My mother and my uncle. My center was very far away. And they came that far away, and see where I am today. I started questioning my intelligence, my dream, and my worth. I kept saying that be strong, be resilient because your end goal is NEET and you cannot give up. But still, my inner self was not ready to understand. Because sometimes the fear is not failure. It's the thought that maybe तुम काबिल नहीं हो. I ate cookies, I talked with my mother, I took God's name, I prayed. I didn't even share those marks with my mother because I was like, किस मुंह से बताऊं यार. Then, at 2 a.m., I was like, there's something off. I was getting 68, and this is something where the problem would have been. Let's check again. And then I realized that the questions were actually jumbled up, and when you're checking the answers, you have to actually match the ID. And when I checked again, I ended up scoring 83 marks in total. I know they were not that great, but just imagine from 3 to 83. So 83 marks would actually give me a percentile of 85 to 90, but it was okay at the end of the day. I cried. Not tears of pain, but tears of relief that, oh my god, there was a big stone on my heart, on my chest, and that relieved me. It takes years, to build a dream, but sometimes it just takes minute to change your life direction. कहते हैं ना कि कुछ मिनटों में तुम्हारी जिंदगी बदल जाती है, and that happened. Where I was thinking only 3 and where I'm getting 83. So today, the day when I'm recording this, I've not gotten the percentile yet. I'll actually write the percentile on the screen for all the viewers. And before that, I'll actually tell you that I'm actually a category student. I'm EWS student. So for me, this much marks will actually fetch me up for the selection in JEE Advanced. But I never wanted to go for JEE Advanced. So today taught me something sacred. I didn't go there to increase anyone's competition, obviously. I was not there to steal somebody's seat. I went there because my life had 2 drop years. Yes, damn it, 2 drop years. I had anxiety issues, I had nervousness, and mock tests were not able to overcome that. So I wanted to go for it, and above that all, it was that courage which I was needing to fight with the life. That even if need doesn't happen, I have the courage to fight. I have the courage to come back again, and I have the courage to at least give my family a decent life that they actually are worth of. So, yeah, it actually taught me that because anxiety was there, it has actually taught me that exams test memory, not courage. And courage is choosing not to give up. Even when your mind is screaming, let's go. Because when it was 3 marks, my mind was like, let's give up. But at the end, I was telling myself that no, we cannot give up. So this is the lesson for all the JEE aspirants and for all the NEET aspirants. There will be days when you feel that सब छोड़ देते हैं, खत्म करते कहानी. But no, if this is what you wanted for so many years, go for it. I'm proud of myself today, not because of my marks. They were not that great. Again, I'll put the percentile on the screen so you can actually get to know about it. But as I was telling, I would have at least qualified for JEE Advanced because I'm EWS category student. So, it was not for marks, it was not for percentile, but it was for surviving. The version of myself that thought that it was all over, this is my silent comeback. Not that loud, but at least not that perfect also, but at least real. And if you're watching this till now, thinking that you're weak, I promise you, you're not. You're just tired. You are tired, and remember that tired people don't quit. They rest and they rise again.